best to get Glenn in.
Sure.
And Tuck, would you do some soldier footwork for me on the deal?
Absolutely. That guy's rating, Glenn Beck's ratings are so big. I read the ratings every day that I actually, sometimes it looks like a misprint. I mean, he's at 5 o'clock, so the HUT level, the household using television level, is pretty low compared to prime time. And that guy's getting blow the doors off, shock you ratings. He's getting like 400 at 5 o'clock, which, trust me,
now,
I've never seen it before.
Is that a 400? Does that mean there's 400,000 people watching his show?
No,
he's got more than that.
That's the demo. It's an obscure. I mean, it doesn't mean anything really outside of cable news. But just trust me.
All right,
nobody has seen numbers like that at 5 o'clock ever.
So what
this guy is doing something that's never been done.
What would be his total cume then? I mean, if you say cume meaning like viewers at that particular time,
right.
What would you think it would be? 4 or 5 million?
The short answer is I don't know because I'm just not in the habit of ever looking at the cume because the demo is how all ads are sold, so that's kind of the number that everyone looks at. The more interesting number, and I don't know it either, but is what's his share? What percentage of people watching TV at 5 o'clock are watching Glenn Beck?
That's what we get. That's what we get pretty much rated by as well as our share within the market spot. That's what we get. So we're familiar with share. It just makes us know what his cume is.
On Monday, 25 to 54, Glenn Beck. Okay, I'll give you all the numbers at 5 o'clock. Glenn Beck had 25 to 54, 826,000 viewers.
Which, by the way, 2554 is the big, as I think Tucker would testify, is the big money demo. That's the demo that the banks and the Chevrolets and the Toyotas. That's the money. That's the demo they buy.
So Beck has 826,000 viewers.
826,000.
Yeah, okay. At 2554 on Monday. At 5 o'clock. Wolf Blitzer had 141,000.
Oh my God, Wolf's getting his ass kicked.
Chris Matthews had 119.
Again, and they pay Matthews
$5 million.
$5 million wasted dollars a year. Me and Contessa Brewer, I could pull 300,000 with me and Contessa.
Sure, and then Headline News has 148,000. So CNN is even getting beat by their own Headline News.
Well, the bottom line is you could combine all those and they wouldn't have what Glenn had times 2.
Glenn Beck is doing. I mean, I think you really have to understand numbers, which you guys obviously do, broadcasting numbers, to get what Glenn Beck is doing. But it's shocking. So the idea that some group is going to force him off the air with a boycott. I mean, that's a joke.
That only works for us.
Now let me ask you a question. What kind of money you think he's making, man, with ratings like that? I bet you if Matthews is making 5, I guarantee you Glenn's making at least 5 and maybe 9 a year.
I don't know the answer to that. I think he's doing well, and I think he's doing really well, and I think he's, going to be a fixture. I think Glenn Beck is going to be on television and radio, when my kids are married with their own kids. I think Glenn Beck's going to stick around. Do you ever watch the show?
Of
course we do.
I watched it. Here's the only thing the only problem I have with the show. It's very entertaining. First of all, he's got ratings because he's entertaining.
Well, the one thing about it is, Tucker, is he has taken his radio shtick and his ability to be able to, to convey a message, and he's, put that to TV, and not a lot of TV guys get the shtick part of it, and Glenn does. He gets the entertainment part of it.
Yeah, he really does.
A lot. Anyway, go ahead, Brett.
And he doesn't change. I don't think I've ever seen anybody address the camera more naturally than he does. That guy is totally unintimidated by television. Most people get on the air and they're like, they see the cameraman standing there and they think, oh my gosh, my parents are watching me, and they freeze up a little bit or they act stilted or unnatural. That guy looks like he's just doing this in front of a mirror in an empty room. There's no self-consciousness at all.
Now, Brent, what do you got, Brent?
Compelling.
The only thing, the show is compelling. It's very entertaining to watch. And obviously, the guy does better than the next two people have about half of his audience at 6 and 7. So, but the problem I have is he's got to stop with the writing on the chalkboard, man. I feel like I'm in school when he's doing that.
Well, some
I
people
haven't seen that.
Yeah, he wrote oligarchy up on the board the other day and spelled it wrong.
It's okay. But at least he's got your attention now.
No, with a K?
No, he spelled it. He forgot the C and the CHY at the end.
He didn't care. He didn't care. He's got 827,000 other people that think it's pretty cool.
No, the show is entertaining, but sometimes he gets the facts completely wrong. But
like most people, I have never watched TV at 5 o'clock. I'm not in the habit of doing it. I'm not interested. And that guy, every time I've turned him on, mostly in the background, I found myself looking up for my email with my jaw open, and I just can't turn away. It's that compelling.
And I'm glad you brought up the group, trying to get advertisers to boycott. That is the lamest thing anybody can do to anyone. If the public doesn't like somebody, they will be off the air because they'll have no ratings, period.
Right.
That's how it works.
The public votes with their pocketbook every day.
So how has that worked for you guys? People tried that on you guys?
Oh my God.
That's why we got thrown off the air.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had
a guy named Douglas Vanderlyn. Douglas Vanderlyn out of Jacksonville that was taping us, and he started on this big, anti-advertising campaign deal, and he was the one that at the end of the day was to file the FCC complaint, that got us thrown off the air.
Jeez, that's
one guy.
He couldn't. The market didn't work.
No,
he couldn't get actual listeners to abandon your show, so he went and whined to the government and had them use their power.
And on the last day that they were able to file on us, they filed on us, and it was only after he resubmitted it 2 other times. Here's the bottom line. Brent will be able to tell you the story a little bit better than me. Here's what I know. Douglas Vanderlyn submitted these complaints to us and did not have, there's a form and a way that you have to submit your complaints. There's a structure as how the FCC wants it. Well, he didn't do it correctly. Well, then because we were on the air and we did not support Samuel Arion, the professor down here in University of South Florida, who I feel is a modern day, terrorist.
Well, he's pled guilty to those charges now. Some of them,
and so Salon.com.
A guy named Eric Bollert.
Yeah, you know what, Brent?
Oh, I know Eric.
Well,
Bollert,
hold on.
yeah.
Let me just throw it over to Brent, and I'll settle down, Brent, because you get real heated, so you need to take just a step back. Try to be a little objective here. Calm down, and you tell the story. And Tucker, this is going to why we're not even more rich and more famous than we are because of the martyrs that we have because of how we've been wronged and railroaded by our government, and why we have bad attitudes has a little bit to do with this story. So, Brent, I'll go ahead and give the whole timeline, because I'm just going to shut up because I know you know what I'm talking about most of the time.
Here's what happened. After 9/11, there was this professor at the University of South Florida here in Tampa. Well, we were the first
named Samuel Arion.
Right. We uncovered that he had, and we did this all on our own, and then Debbie Schlussel came on and validated what we found, and she said she found the same thing independently. He was the guy that do you remember the blind sheikh that bombed the World Trade Center?
Yes, vividly.
Yeah, he's the guy that got him into the country. He's also the guy that supports the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and they bomb places in Israel with his support, and even a 16-year-old girl died.
And this guy was a professor at the University of South Florida.
Yeah, at a public university here in Florida. So we exposed that. So because we
on the air.
On the air.
Yeah.
You guys did that?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Good for you.
So then Eric...
Well, no shame on us because we lost our jobs because of it.
Yes. So Eric Bollert, when he's working with Salon.com, goes and gets an attorney named Arthur Belundiak out of Washington, D.C., who was a FCC attorney under Ronald Reagan. And they get with Douglas Vanderlyn, and they
they find out that Vanderlyn, you got to then introduce Douglas Vanderlyn and how the stuff had been denied. You could get into that.
Yeah, the same complaint that got us fined, Douglas Vanderlyn had submitted it himself 2 times to the FCC. It had been denied 2 times. So these guys find out about that, this Belundiak and Eric Bollert.
Because they love Samuel Arion, and they were mad about us because we were on the air, saying our opinions of Samuel Arion. This is what it is this is a gross injustice of the First Amendment.
It really is.
We have a guy in at Salon.com and stuff because, we were given our opinion, which were truthful, of a guy named Samuel Arion who hates our country. And, and because they didn't like our opinion, they went out and shut us up.
Yep. Then so this FCC attorney doctors our transcripts. Even it says in the FCC order that the transcripts were misleading as to what's actually on the tape, and gets us fined $755,000.
Only after Vanderlyn's complaint had been turned down 2 other times. He knew how to file this stuff and to get people railroaded. That guy then represented Vanderlyn for free pro bono, and then the rest is history, and we got railroaded in the system.
Yep.
Did you actually have to pay the fine?
No. Clear Channel did. But but your employer paid the. That actually you had to pay that money. No, well, I got fired. I damn near lost my entire life and my career, and the only thing I know how to do in this world.
And luckily for us, there's a guy named Howard Stern out there that was willing to give us a shot.
Yeah,
because he's been screwed with by the same people.
So, Tuck, how fair is that, man? We get on the air, we support our country, we talk about a guy that was, that pled guilty to the things that we said. We were first in on making